Be gentle. There is a time for speaking, when words that can no longer lay silent issue boldly from our eager throats. Now is not the time. Now is the time for listening, for receiving messages from beyond, letting them lie wordless. There is a time for doing, for gathering thought into action, manifesting mindful purpose. Now is not the time. Now is a time for being, for noticing who you are when doing ceases. There is a time for expansion, for venturing beyond former tamed bounds into wild possibility. Now is not the time. Now is a time for contraction, for neither muscle nor breath nor tide can live without pause and retreat. There is a time for growth, when new ideas and beingness spring forth to flowering. Now is not the time. Now is a time for maintenance, to marinate in gratitude and fortify for later expression. There is a time for fighting, to exercise will and push through stuck and stagnant scars. Now is not the time. Now is a time for recovery, to heal our wounds, to feast and marvel at courage. There is a time for light, for bright seeing, illumination of night and stretching upwards. Now is not the time. Now is a time for dark, for blindness and shadow, for faith and downward seeping. There is a time for going out into the world with statement and exclamation. Now is not the time. Now is a time for coming into ourselves with commas and questions. There is a time for pushing out of ourselves, out of the tired, spent ground. Now is not the time. Now is a time for pulling in, gathering nutrients from the dead and decaying. There is a time for dreams and waking, for envisionment and inspiration, future forward. Now is not the time. Now is a time for memory and sleep, to honor and learn what was, past in whatever shape. Dear one, this does not mean that if you are to speak, do, expand, grow, fight, light, go out, push out, dream, and wake now, that you're wrong. It means it will be harder. It may be too soon, leave you too empty. Allow your body to fill, to remember seasons, eons of cycles that let our spirits breathe. Remember what winter is for, cozying into huts by warm hearths and hot, hearty drink, simmering in story while the dark fields lay fallow and sleep with us, letting the frost sink in deep. There is no time, you say. The world thirsts for hope, aches for justice, craves a revolution. Yes. And the world also thirsts for your renewal, aches for your rest, craves your wholeness. You are the world. Listen. Now is not the time for everything. No time is. There is still time. Do not be fooled by the illusion of scarcity. Now is just what is called for. Be gentle, yet be fierce in your gentleness.